idling at almost 14. A lot better. I took the unknown idle air bleeds out. They were so small they weren't marked. And then I put in 78s. And it is behaving way better. And I had immediate reaction from the idle air screws. You bump them one way or another, it's immediate. You can hear it instantly. Before, it wasn't doing anything on the idle air screw adjustment, so I knew there was something wrong with my air bleeds. It was already way past the ability for it to adjust. But now it's running really nice, and it was just because it was super rich. This is here, I'll shut it off. This is the first attempt or first check on the, this is the weather stripping that I used from O'Reilly's that I used on the trunk on the Fury, and I wish I would have got the U-shaped stuff. It's about half the thickness, but obviously I got some felony holes to fix. This is my first attempt at body work. This is an old, that's, what the hell is that? That's a chunk of the hood from my 99 Chevy pickup. The rest of the floors aren't terrible. I still have some work to do here. I was just trying things, just figuring things out, but yeah, did a little welding here. This is all new-ish. I mean, 8 years ago. I've had this truck for 20 years now. Used to have a 394 speed, and that thing cracked a cylinder wall idling in a parking lot. But yeah, so you gotta slam the shit out of it, get it to seal, but boy does it seal. It's I built the engine mounts. They're solid. The block hugger headers are terrible. Don't ever buy these unless you absolutely have to. I'm not saying anything about Hooker headers or the company that produces them. They fit. They do the job that they're supposed to, but they are a nightmare to adapt. At least for me, because I'm stupid. The stock manifolds, if I had to run block huggers, and if I have to ever do it again, I will definitely use Hooker because I've already got some experience with them. There's nothing wrong with the headers themselves. They're fantastic. Just the flanges, the way they're oriented, I'd do some messing around with to get them to work with this absolutely cobbled deal. But definitely try to go with some long tubes or mid tubes or just conventional headers, unless it's a straight rod. Or I had to for this situation, just because that cross member right there, which is ridiculous for me to keep, it's not doing anything. It's missing the rest of it. The whole reason I went with block huggers is to dump here, and then I would be able to, because long tubes would have put me running right into that. Same thing with mid tubes. And I'm going to cut it out anyways, because it's not connected to anything. It's literally just in the way. So it was my poor decision making that got me to that point, and that's why I have a problem with block hugger headers. But this is how frustrated I got at one point. Is I just cut the flange off and welded it solid, and then there's my O2 sensor. If you ever do an LS swap, the best way I've ever seen to do it is get the engine mounts off of the truck that it came with. That's what these are. Put the entire thing together and locate it, because if this engine's coming out more than once, this is the slickest thing ever. These 3 bolts, it sets right in there, it cradles up, and zip zip zip. You don't have to do any messing around. You don't need a buddy, nothing. For the water pump, I got rid of the old style thermostat housing, and I cannot tell you, I think it's off like a mid-70s Buick, if I remember right, something like that. And then nothing fit, so everything's schmooed together. It's terrible, but it works. The heater hoses, you know anything about LS motors, they're different sizes, and I didn't want to dick around with changing that, so what I did was I ripped them both out. They're just pressed in there. Ripped them both out, tapped them for 3/4 pipe, and then put 3/4 inch nipples in there with hose nipples on the end, and put heater hoses back on, and worked pretty slick. This is my brand new fender that I cut apart to get the exhaust out. So usually the turbo sits right about here, and then the exhaust side screamer pipes come up through the hood. This is where the exhaust, well, the turbo housing itself, the turbo itself lives, and then my hater pipes pop up through here, and then the exhaust was coming straight up through the hood here, but that was I had an oiling issue, so I was painting the windshield with oil. So instead of fixing the oiling issue, I'd have figured I'd just stick it through the hole, make a hole, and stick it down through there and do a side dump. And boy, was that cool, and it sounded cool, and I really liked it. But then the turbo consumed itself because I didn't oil it. But as it sits, still a good runner. Very happy with it. It's fun to drive. It's definitely something I'll do again. Nope.